Welcome back guys on Burzum Part 2. As I promised last week, I'm coming out with a new episode dedicated to Burzum. If you want to do a recap of my episode, just listen on Spotify, Google Podcast and Apple Podcast, and even on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, click on the bell, like and share. And don't forget to watch all the episodes that I have done. Are you ready? Let's start! And now we arrive in January 92, where Burzum entered in the studio to record the first full-length album, called Burzum. This one was produced by Python together with Euronymous, that run the Deadlight Silence Productions. It was recorded in January, but was published in March 92. It was recorded at Griagallen in Bergen. That is the same place where Mayhem recorded the Mysterious Dom Satanas. The original pressing contains side 8 and side Winter. There would be side A and side B. Side 8, Phoebo Screams from Forest Unknown, Here Lord of the Depths, Black Spell of Destruction, and channeling the power of souls into a new god. That we talked the demo version. Side Winter, War, The Crying Orc, A Lost Forgotten Sad Spirit from the demo, My Journey to the Stars, and Dungeons of Darkness. The cover of this album was made by Jannike Wies Hansen, a friend of Vikernes and of Euronymous. She made art covers for many bands. Here the sound in Burzum I could perceive from Ia Lord of the Depths, that is very similar of course from Lord of the Depths from the demo 2. And the sound quality is better right now, and I could perceive a very good structure of the guitars. Here the guitars are amazing. Because I could perceive even the drums that do the atmosphere in a very perfect way, and I really love this. I don't know why, but when I listen here Lord of the Depths, it seems like I'm listening a piece of classical music. I don't know why. It reminds my ear that it took inspiration from classical music. The only bad thing for me is the vocals, that are not very good. I really like the solo part of this song. It is amazing structure. Contains a good tapping. Reminds me from thrash metal as well, the structure of the riffs. Spell of Destruction or Black Spell of Destruction, recorded in studio with Python in Griagallen, it has a different perspective and a different sensation. I really like the arpeggio of the guitar here, when the drums is silent and then explodes. And it's not very much fast like other tracks, but it is slow, but it gives you the perspective that something like a demon is going to haunt you. It gives that frightening sensation. Of course, the riffs reminds me of thrash metal. It is very present, the thrash metal influence. Reminds me so much of doom metal, this track. And with the voice gives you the perspective of evil. The final, almost the final of this song, with the screams of Varg and the guitar that does the structure of the riff, gives that evil perspective. It's like you perceive the pain of this person that is screaming his hell out. A new track it is, War, with the help of Euronymous. Yes, you understood very well. Euronymous, together with Count Grishnak, composed this song. And for many people, this is the best track of the album. Many people think that he wanted to imitate Bathory, that composed the same song or almost with the same title, War. But Grishnak said that it has nothing to do with the Bathory track. The track has as an influence comes from thrash metal, but I could say that it is very similar to Bathory structure of the song, and the solo is amazing thanks to Euronymous and Grishnak that together became the legend of black metal. The Crying Orc. This is amazing because it contains two guitars that do a sort of good structure of the music. I could perceive these good scales of the two guitars, which is amazing. My Journey to the Stars, I could tell you, this is one of the best tracks of this album for me. Contains these incredible riffs that comes from thrash metal, and it is brilliant. Good solo part here, and then the drums amazing here. It starts to be very fast and fast. The riffs are amazing, very amazing structure, it's very brilliant. Here Varg used many riffs together. It's like he recorded one track one day, another track the next day, because I could perceive that he took some time to record this track in particular. Towards the end of the track, I could perceive that it comes from black metal to doom metal, becomes from faster to slower. It doesn't start in the same way when it finishes. Here in Dungeons of Darkness, there is Euronymous playing the instrument. This is an ambient track. On this track, Euronymous plays the gong that is inside the Griagallen Studios. Very ambient track. Here there is a crescendo of effects. Stemmen fra Tornet. I really like the beginning. It's very faster and with the same thrash metal influence that I could perceive here, even from Bathory or even Venom. And even a little bit of Motorhead and Slayer I could perceive here. Stemmen fra Tornet means the voice from the tower. Here I could perceive even Sodom influence, and I perceive a synthesizer in the background, which gives the perfect atmosphere for this song. Reminds me a little bit of the Mysterious Dom Satanas track. I could perceive the dark atmosphere of the song. Contains a good scale. Then of course Dominus Satanas, which I talked about it in the previous demo. But here with vocals that are very extreme. I could perceive Varg Vikernes screaming loud. Despite I don't like his voice, he could give you the shiver on your back when you listen Burzum. Good dark riffs with solo parts. These are amazing. A Lost Forgotten Said the Spirit, recorded in Griagallen, gives you another effect, and with vocals it improves a lot. Especially the guitars I could perceive more, instead I was perceiving more the drums because it was better recorded, and here I could perceive that the structure of the riffs are from thrash metal, and it reminds me of Mayhem, Pure Fucking Armageddon, and even Death Crash. But even, I could say, even the live albums, and especially the Mysterious Dom Satanas. Here I could perceive the big influence that he took from Mayhem, and I could perceive especially in this track, in A Lost Forgotten Said the Spirit, because the drums are fast in some parts, then becomes slower, like in Freezing Moon, for example, in Mayhem, and then becomes faster again, which it is amazing. The only bad thing for me is the voice. The vocals are not very good for me. I really like this variation of the tempo. Certain parts are faster and other parts are slower to don't get tired the ear, which it is important to don't get tired the ear of the listeners when they listen this album, or especially black metal in general. There are certain pieces of black metal that could be boring in certain moments, and other tracks could be very fast and very good in other. So it depends how you perceive black metal. So this one was recorded in March 92 and was released in 500 copies by Death Like Silence Production. Then in March 93 was released an EP called Oske by Burzum. Was released by Death Like Silence Production in 1000 copies and contains 3 songs: Stemmen från tornet, Dominus Satanas, and A Lost Forgotten Sad Spirit. Oske means ashes. What you see on the cover is the ruins of the Untitled Church, a church allegedly burned by Vikernes in 92. Ironically distributed by Deadlight Silence Productions and Voices of Wonder, were lighters with the album cover printed on them. Oske was recorded in September 92 and contains the participation of Samot from band Emperor on the bass on 2 tracks. Now I want to talk about That Som Engam Var, that was recorded in April 92, always at Griagallen in Bergen, and was released in August 93. On the cover you can admire the module The Temple of Elemental Evil that is inspired by Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and that, if you remember, I talked before, that is a role-play game. This album was released on CD in August 93 through Vikernes' own record label, Simophane Productions, that he created just to leave the Deadlight Silence Productions of Euronymous, because there were disagreements. And this album cover was drawn by Jannike V. Hansen, thanks to Wikipedia. And these are the tracks Den Onde Kysten, Key to the Gate, and Ring till Oerske, Lost Wisdom, Hansom Reista, Norn Himmelen Klarner, Snu Microcosmostage, Svarte Troner. As you can see, Vikernes used the Norwegian language for this album. Det som en gang var means for what once was. Den onde kysten, or The Evil Coast, is an ambient track. I could perceive the gong right here on this track, and an evil piano in background. It is a very good experimental track that gives you the evil atmosphere, which is very good. Not many people notice that this track has been recorded backwards. But about this, I'm not sure. Second track, Key to the Gate. This was entitled Key to the Purgatory, if you remember, in Demo 2. I could perceive the chaos and very fast drums and fast riffs with the thrash metal influence, which is brilliant, guys. I really like this dissonance of the chords, but the only thing that I don't like is the vocals of Varg Vikernes. He is a brilliant musician, but the voice is not very good. I really like the blast beat of the drums on this track, which is amazing, and the exchange of tempos right here from faster to slow. This slow tempo gives you a very dark atmosphere and gives you sadness. you perceive sadness on these notes, which it is very amazing. Vikernes is able to transmit you these dark emotions, from sadness, anger, all together. And this arpeggio structure in the middle of the song, it is amazing because it is very well done. I really like even the slide here. Then everything stops and only the guitar goes to do this evil arpeggio, which for me took inspiration from classical music. I really like this blast beat in the middle of the song, and then it becomes slow with this solo part with this rhythm guitar in the background that gives this perfect atmosphere that is black metal, the purest form of black metal. I really like these riffs and solo versions that Varg does into this song. It is amazing, guys. En ring till å herske. That means one ring to rule. As you remember, Varg Vikernes took inspiration from Lord of the Rings, and even this image of Tolkien for these lyrics and songs. And this song is the case. What I like about this structure, especially the beginning, that contains a clean vocal that sings together with the guitar. It is an amazing song, one of my favorites, I could say. The guitars for me took inspiration from Mayhem in Death Crash and even later on The Mysteries. But I couldn't talk about this because Burzum recorded before The Mysteries. I could say that even took inspiration for me, even thanks to Pure Fucking Armageddon and Death Crash, in my opinion. I could perceive these thrash metal riffs together with the black metal riff that is typical of Euronymous. If you have the ear, you can listen to this. The drums are not very fast, normal. There's no blast beat on this song. I really like the arpeggio at the middle of the song, which is incredible. Together with the background vocals, this is amazing. Gives me sadness as an emotion, or even melancholy especially. Contains a beautiful scale that I could perceive. At the half of the song, the guitars are evil together with the clean vocals of Varg Vikernes, which is very good. It's like hell is on earth. And Blast Beat starts almost at the end of the song, but it is amazing, gives you that perspective that something evil is coming. Very well done, Varg here. Lost to Wisdom, I already talked before. Ham som reiste means he who traveled, and is a very good ambient track made with the keyboard. I could perceive more the classical music influence here, especially about the piano. Syncopated passages here are very brilliant to give you the perspective of a horror movie soundtrack, which is very good. But the flute effect on the keyboard gives you the atmosphere of fantasy music. It's like you are imagining mountains, landscapes, fog, the snow, all the nature. Low chords give me the perspective of somebody that is walking on and is coming near to you. Når himmelen klarner means when the sky clears. This song contains two guitars that are meeting each other, and is a very good perspective and a very good song. It's more technical than other tracks, but it's brilliant. And even the arpeggio is very good. Contains even here a beautiful scale of solo parts and it's good. Burzum gives you the power of imagination. To imagine when you hear the music, you are imagining. And this vivid imagination is the power of Burzum. This track is totally instrumental and is very good. Snu Microcosmostage means turn the sign of the microcosm. This track starts very fast, faster and faster, and these riffs of Grishnak are brilliant. I could perceive the darkness here like a mayhem structure, and it's brilliant. Grishnak is able to let the guitar sing and create the atmosphere for this track, and this is amazing. I really like these thrash metal riffs as an influence. This is one of my favorite tracks from this album. Half of the track is even more amazing, guys. These dissonant chords are awesome and gives me the perspective of something evil and dark that is coming, and makes me imagine it a lot. Here the drums change the tempo and the structure, which is brilliant. Maintains the same emotion from the beginning to the end, and is awesome. The only problem here is the vocals of Grishnak. And then I really like the arpeggio part of the song when the drums finish. It is amazing. Background vocals are awesome here. Background vocals are giving you that atmosphere of somebody that is going to haunt you, like a ghost around you. The atmosphere reminds me of classical music, even this track. Svarte Troner, an ambient track. I could perceive the keyboard of Grishnak, and the vocals here are very evil. I really wish that Grishnak would have sang all the album with these vocals here. This track is very evil in all the perspective. It's very full of darkness. It's like you are inside a haunted place where you hear strange noise from afar, which it is amazing how he can describe the music. Svarte Troner means black thrones. I really like the synth effects here. Thank you to have participated with me on Deathblow Podcast Burzum Part 2. Don't forget to subscribe, click on the bell, like and share on Deathblow Podcast. If you have suggestions or thoughts, don't forget to write me on Instagram on Deathblow Podcast, or even deathblowpodcast@gmail.com. Don't even forget to listen to me on Spotify, Google Podcast and Apple Podcast, and on YouTube, of course. If you want to have a recap of all the videos, choose to go on the YouTube channel, on Spotify, Deathblow Podcast. See you soon, guys!